Olá, Petalite do Mal, canal secundário. O Summoning Salt acabou de postar aí a primeira parte dos vídeos dele sobre 120 Star. E eu, como Speedrunner de Mario 64, senti que eu precisava assistir. Então, vamos lá. Vamos começar.
August 4th, 2012. Streaming live on a young website called Twitch.tv, a player is trying to beat perhaps the most famous world record in all of video gaming, the Super Mario 64 120 star world record. It's a competition of how quickly you can collect every star in the most popular 3D platformer of all time. It's part of a relatively new hobby called speedrunning. 120 star is a prestigious enough record that it's rarely broken at this point.
Okay.
But on this day, one man is determined to do it. His name is Siglemic.
Siglemic! Let's go!
Siglemic has been going at this for a while.
OG.
Even today, he's already been streaming for several hours. He makes dozens of attempts at the record, each one dying to mistakes or just being too slow. But eventually, he's able to get a fast start. Siglemic collects star after star, displaying incredible movement and other techniques. Thousands of livestream viewers watch in awe as he makes it past 30 stars, then 50, then 70. He's pulling far ahead. This is on pace for a new world record. The impressive gameplay continues. Excitement is building. He's doing things that most
Calma, deixa eu ver esse chat.
gameplay
Chat de 2012. Esse Sunjando tá maluco aí.
Excitement is building.
Fora isso,
he's
bem
doing
normal.
things that most viewers can't even fathom. And then, minutes away from a new world record, he arrives at one of the last stars, the Rainbow Ride 100 coin star. This one is super easy. All you have to do is stand still on a magic carpet and collect a few coins. Siglemic does that.
Nossa. Cara, ele é muito bom, esse episódio é muito bom. Ele tá fazendo foreshadow, ele tá assistindo muito fácil. Porque aí ele vai chegar na parte 3 e tacar carpetless. Ele vai, essa estrela que era muito fácil, agora é tipo a estrela mais difícil da run. Então, tipo, gelo, né?
And the 117th star appears. All he has to do now is jump up and collect it.
Oh no. Yep.
This is the worst way to lose a record.
Yeah.
An hour and 41 minutes of beautiful...
Quer dizer, mas também, tipo... É karma, né? Porque ele tava andando agachado ali. E aí, tá tarde? Pô, mas o... Meu mano Summoning Salt já acabou de dropar, né? Então, I don't give a fuck. Aliás, são 11h30 ainda. Não tem problema. Só. É meio culpa dele. Ele não devia estar agachado ali.
Gameplay, and it had all been for nothing. Siglemic could do some things in Mario 64 that nobody else could. Yet, right here, he could have handed the controller off to anyone, and they would have collected the star. After finishing the run, Siglemic talked to his stream about what happened.
Like, I couldn't even believe it. Like, I paused and I was just like looking at it. I just like felt nothing. I don't even know like how long it would take me to get a run like this. Again, it'll probably take a while. I can't believe I threw that kind of run away.
In this moment, Siglemic felt tiny. His best ever chance at the record thrown in the garbage. Sometimes, attempts at greatness end in tragedy. It's a necessary evil. Because if there's never any tragedy, then greatness would feel insignificant.
Ooh.
Oh my god, dude!
Good line just dropped.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude! No way!
Reage. 2004 a 2014. Let's go. Ó, with help from Alex64, Frosty Zaco, Goth Logic, Puncation, Siglemic, Liam, Cheese, Suigi, Ouija, Simply. Bang! Botaram o Big 7 aqui, mano. Pera, quê? cara esqueceu de botar o featuring music from. Ele só deixou vazio. Unlucky. Unlucky. Patrocínio?
And now, a word from this video sponsor,
Yep.
Factor. Factor lets
Não,
you
pô.
pick from a
Vamos deixar
variety of
tocar, né?
meals and have them delivered
Eu
to
tô
your
roubando o
door.
vídeo do cara,
Just
deixa eu
pop
tocar.
it in the microwave and eat it. Factor is a great product if you have a type of diet in mind.
A música não
If you're
tem
on a
nome.
keto
foda-se.
diet, they have higher fat options that are low carb.
Ó, galera.
If you're on a low
Vai apoiar
calorie
o
diet, they
Summoning
have lower
Salt aí,
calorie
velho.
options. Different diets
Dá
are
like no
recommended
vídeo.
for different lifestyles, so you should be mindful of how much of each macro you eat in each meal. Luckily, Factor is transparent about the nutritional value of each meal on their website and on the back of each package. Check the daily recommended values to make a plan that's right for you. Factor also has a variety of smoothies, protein shakes, and other drinks you can order. Once again, you can tailor these to the type of diet you wish to follow. High protein options, higher fat keto options, or fruit smoothie options. Just check the nutrition facts right on their website. To try Factor, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50summoningsalt to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50summoningsalt at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video.
W sponsor. Quando eu vejo esses ads no meio do vídeo, eu me pergunto como realmente é o produto que os caras estão divulgando. Cara, muitas vezes não é muito bom. Mas eu já ouvi falar coisas boas do Factor. Tipo, que eu fiquei sabendo, o Factor, desses produtos de YouTube, assim, que geralmente é ruim, o Factor é, tipo, um dos melhores, assim. Então, porque eu sei que tem aquele Raycons lá, e aquele, tipo, são, tipo, fones de ouvido, só que eu vi, tipo, review, e, tipo, não é bom o fone, tá ligado? Pelo preço que você paga e pelo...
Let's start with an
Push it to
overview of
get-
the speedrun.
edges.
Super Mario 64 has a total of 120 stars for you to collect.
True.
You only need to collect 70 of them to beat the game,
Go
but a
for it.
full 100% completion involves collecting all 120 stars.
True.
How do you collect them? Well, the game has 15 levels, and each level contains 7 stars. That accounts for 105 stars, and the remaining 15 come from various locations, scattered throughout the castle, substages like Peach's Slide, and the Bowser levels. Most of the game's stars involve defeating bosses or completing objectives. Each level also has a star you earn from collecting 100 coins, known as the 100 coin
As
star.
piores
Once you
estrelas.
collect enough stars, you can
Quer
fight
dizer,
Bowser to earn
às vezes as mais da hora,
These keys unlock new
mas também as
sections
mais
of the castle.
fodidas, geralmente.
There are 3 main areas. You start in the lobby with its 4 levels, then unlock the basement
Nossa,
and
o
its
cara, ele
5
tá...
levels, and later
Ele
unlock
sabe que a
up
série vai
to
ser longa,
6
então
levels.
já tá dando
Importantly,
o detalhe
within each section of
incompleto
the
aqui.
castle, there's a lot of flexibility in the order you can play the levels. While 120 star is at the forefront of speedrunning today, it certainly didn't start that way. Let's go back to the very beginning.
Let's go.
The first sign of 120 star speedrun activity comes from the year 2004 on the speedrunning hub Speed Demos Archive. Keep in mind, Super Mario 64 was just 8 years old at this point. Various
Wow.
people created forum threads asking what a 120 star speedrun would look like, hoping somebody would be willing to try it. 2 speedrunners took up the task, Spider-Man 88mil and Jason.
Ok, esse Spider-Man 88.000, eu acho que ele tava no vídeo de 16 star. Ele era tipo um dos primeirões que tava naquele. O tempo dele era tipo, tava 20 minutos, tá ligado? Então, shout out pro meu mano Spider-Man 88.000 aí, hein? Ele
Their
tá...
runs were unrecorded, but they posted updates in forum threads, trading the record back and forth throughout 2004. Finally, in December, Spider-Man 88mil got a record he was happy with.
Oh yeah.
2 hours, 58 minutes, and 49
Bang!
seconds. He recorded it on VHS, and across the next 21 years, that footage survived.
Huh.
Let's take a look at the
Caralho.
earliest recorded 120 star speedrun.
Caralho. 2004.
The first thing to notice is the movement. Spider-Man 88mil did a lot of long jumps,
Oh, yeah.
performed by pressing Z
Oh,
and
yeah.
then jumping. This is one of the fastest
Nossa,
ways of moving
2
in the game,
pixels.
faster than just running. Then there's the routing. The order of collecting all 120 stars is important. You don't want to waste time backtracking, for instance.
True.
There's a couple basic rules he followed. He always collected all 7 of a level's stars before heading to the next level, and he generally completed all levels in an area before moving on.
Ele pega todas as estrelas em cada nível antes de sair. A gente faz isso atualmente em 120? Não. Sim? Eu tô tentando pensar. Talvez tenha alguma exceção. Na maioria dos níveis a gente faz isso. Talvez tenha alguns onde você volta depois. Eu não tô conseguindo lembrar no momento. O tanto de estratégia que tem hoje em dia o cara não faz, pois é. Não, mas assim, pra mim é só tipo, caraca, olha quão simples era, tá ligado?
These rules helped ensure he made it through as fast as possible. Now, as for the gameplay itself, parts of it were pretty impressive for such an early run. For instance, to save time on the Lil Penguin Lost Star, he jumped over the edge and landed right where he needed to be, rather than sliding down the slopes. In Womp's Fortress, instead of using the cannon, he cleverly used a side to reach the chute into the Wild Blue Star. Little strategies like these were used throughout the 3-hour run, saving him small amounts of time over a casual playthrough. But certain sections made it quite clear that this was an early speedrun. He died 4 times and played very slowly.
4 times? Menos do que eu achei, hein? Menos do que eu achei que ia ser.
Not at all like a modern run. Perhaps the most infamous moment came in Shifting Sandland, when he just couldn't quite reach the star in the pyramid.
Ai meu Deus. Ai meu Deus. Oh, it's a fraud on display. Oh meu Deus. Ok, ele conseguiu. Oh,
it's silly to think of such moments being in a world record today, but in 2004, things were bound to happen across a 3-hour speedrun. Spider-Man 88 Mil received lots of praise for his record.
Heck yes.
Most had never seen a run of the game like this before, and although they could see its imperfections, they were impressed to see such a high level of gameplay mostly sustained across 3 hours. Interestingly, Jason realized after watching the run that he'd sort of already beaten it. He'd played on the PAL version of the game, which runs at 5/6 the speed of the NTSC version that Spider-Man 88 Mil played on. So, Jason's 316 would have been timed as a 244 on NTSC, but since it was both unrecorded and played on PAL, it didn't count, and Spider-Man 88 Mil had the official world record. After 2004, we enter a strange period of 120 Stars history. Much of this era has been lost to time, but here's what we do know. Throughout 2005 and 2006, a number of new 120 star speedruns were submitted to Speed Demo's archive.
Sure.
And every single one was rejected by the site admins.
Ooh.
Why? Well, speedrun verification on Speed Demo's archive worked differently back then. They only wanted high quality speedruns on their website, both in video quality and quality of gameplay. So even if someone submitted a run that was fast enough for a new record, admins could reject it if they felt you could do it.
If you died too much, it means it will probably be rejected as not good enough. Imagina no speedrun.com hoje em dia, tá ligado? O Swede envia aquele WR de 16 star que ele fez um ground pound sem querer antes do BOJ e os mods estão tipo you can do better. E eles só rejeitam. That's crazy.
And that happened repeatedly with 120 star. Multiple runs were submitted to SDA that beat Spider-Man 88 Mil. But since the site admins already had a 120 star run, and they weren't overly impressed by the new runs, they rejected them. A baffling concept today, but it was the norm back then. It's unknown how many times this occurred, but we know it happened twice to a player known as Amoeba 2.
Amoeba 2.
In May 2005, he submitted a 254, and in February 2006, he submitted a 247. Both were rejected from SDA.
That's fucked up.
There are also rumors that a player named Ikanaki got a time of 242, but without video proof. Fortunately, this period in history wouldn't last long, because then in 2006, a new player appeared on the forums, intrigued about the possibility of completing a 120 star run. His name was Dragorn.
Oh shit! Quem conhece o Dragorn, sabe que esse cara é real one. Esse cara é um real one.
Dragorn had a different approach. He didn't want to just beat.
Sim, ele meio que só anunciou hoje, assim, e ele é a primeira parte de uma série de 3 vídeos sobre 120 Star. Então a gente tá assistindo.
The run on the site, a 258.49. He wanted to demolish it, leaving no chance for his run to be rejected. His goal was to take more than 40 minutes off the record and get a sub 215.
Tell him,
Dragorn
Dragorn!
himself wasn't sure if this was possible, but he got community members excited. Many of them tried to help out, even if their computer
Eu não consegui olhar no seu Excel, eu tô rodando Windows 98 SE. Oh my god. É assim que você sabe que era 2004, você é louco. Ou não é mais 2004, né? Eu esqueci que ano é agora.
limited them.
Pera, Andrew G?
Excited. Many of them tried to help out, even if their computers limited them. Members from all over the site played all different games.
Você tem prova amanhã? Já não sei o que fazer. Você devia estudar e dormir. O vídeo vai ficar aqui, você pode assistir mesmo.
Eagerly awaited Dragorn's run. Even Spider-Man 88 joined the thread, saying that he felt sub 230 was possible, but not sub 215. Over the next few months, Dragorn posted his progress learning the speedrun. He borrowed many strategies from the existing 70-star record and looked at coin routes from Curtis Bright's Mario 64 website. Finally, after months of practice, Dragorn posted that he'd completed a run. 2 hours, 19 minutes, 47 seconds. The community was amazed that he'd taken half an hour off the record like it was nothing.
Wow.
But there was no video posted. It was hard to upload long videos
Bro.
in 2006,
Selling.
and Dragorn felt he could still lower the time a bit more.
Mas
So,
é o Dragorn.
rather than mail in this VHS tape to
Vamos lá,
SDA,
Dragorn.
he'd wait for the best run he could get. Dragorn kept improving, and his updates in the forum thread continued. A week later, he posted a 2:18:07. People started trash-talking the 258 run on the site, knowing that Dragorn had crushed it. A few weeks later, another update.
That's good.
He was now in the 2:16
Nossa.
range. Finally, in early September, Dragorn posted his newest time. 2:14:32
Damn.
with 0 deaths.
Mano, meu PB de 120 é 2:13. E sim, eu só tive 3 runs completas de 120, mas oh my god.
This accomplished his sub 215 goal, but he was still unsatisfied. He'd been playing since January, and was at the very top of his skills now. Could he do even better if he kept going? Well, Dragorn continued his attempts, and a few days later, he posted one final update in the forums. 2:10, a time that even he thought was impossible.
Nossa, quando ele conseguiu o WR você não era nascida, that's crazy.
Dragorn
Eu acho que eu não era nascido, eu não sei que ano foi.
submitted the run to SDA, and everyone got excited.
Oh,
Nowadays, you can watch a run as soon as it happens, but back then you had to wait for it to be published.
True.
And there was a huge sense of anticipation. It was finally accepted and posted on the site a couple weeks later. At long last, all these members who'd been tracking his progress over the past 9 months were able to watch Dragorn's masterpiece. We see
2006. Eu tava nascido já. Yes! Born just in time to let Dragorn do his fucking thing.
improvements right from the opening seconds of the run.
Oh!
Dragorn goes for and hits a trick called
Bang!
Lakitu skip. When you walk on the bridge to enter the castle, Lakitu stops.
Dragorn não tá aqui pra brincar.
But if you only touch the very edge of the bridge, you never hit the trigger for the cutscene and are able to skip it. This only saves about 10 seconds, but the fact that Dragorn hits it is a sign of what's to come. In Bob-omb Battlefield, he gets a trick called Bomb Clip,
Oh, yeah.
albeit a different version than what's done in runs today.
Eu acho que ele falou
By
na
taking
16
the
Star,
bomb
né?
to the corner of the gate, then jumping as it explodes, you'll get
Essa versão do Bomb Clip apareceu no vídeo de 16 Star também que ele fez. É tipo. A esse ponto não sei o que. Porra, faz tipo 3 anos que aquele vídeo saiu, mas. É sick.
behind
Parece
the
muito mais
free to
difícil,
collect
mas é
the
assim.
star. much faster than having to use the chomp. In general, there was much less playing it safe, and more tricks used to shave seconds off here and there.
Fuck.
In Cool Mountain, he quickly dropped down to the wall kicks
Oh, yeah.
with Workstar instead of
I
slowly
do this.
floating down like the old record. In Dire Docks, instead of using the slow poles to collect red coins,
Caralho, ele fez
he did
com
a
sub.
series of difficult jumps to reach
Yes.
the platforms.
Caralho, mano, é isso que eu tô dizendo, mano. O Dragorn é goated as fuck. Esse bomb clip parece mais maneiro do que o que a gente faz em dia. Quer dizer, o fato que você toma dano no bomb clip é meio lame. Mas é da hora. Parece mais difícil, though.
This was a true speedrun. There were strategies, there were tricks, there were things you would not see in a normal playthrough. And importantly, Dragorn completed the entire run without dying.
Yup.
This was all everyone was hoping for and more. Dragorn stepped away from Mario 64 for good after
Tchau,
this.
Dragorn.
Before he left, he posted a comment talking about the future of 120-star speedruns. He felt that a 209 was right around the human limit. A sub 2 hour speedrun was completely out of the question.
Apenas pra taço.
After Dragorn's run, the SDA community lost interest in 120-star, as well as most other Mario 64 categories. Throughout the rest of 2006, 2007, and 2008, Dragorn's record stood.
Bro was glazing
Then,
through.
in 2009, a new Super Mario...
WR hoje em dia é 1,40 e algo? Não. Vamos descobrir. Não, a gente não vai descobrir hoje. É 1,35 e 28 o WR do Switch.
64
1,40 era WR em tipo 2018. Or something. Então, você errou por uns 7 anos.
community popped up. But this time, it was in Japan.
Oh, shit.
Prior to now, 120-star hadn't seen competition.
Pera, eu acho que vai vir uns nomes aqui que eu reconheço, hein? Quando eu tava fazendo minha pirâmide de golds de Mario 64, acho que 2 ou 3 anos atrás, eu pesquisei muito nesses jornais antigos, então...
It's part of the world. But in 2009, a group of runners from
Vamos ver,
Japan
vamos
started
ver.
streaming speedruns to Nico, a site that let you both live stream and upload videos. This new community turned into the best speedrunners the game had ever seen. They were aware of Dragorn's 120-star record on SDA and set that as their goal time to beat. Once they blew past that record, they competed against each other to take the 120-star record as low as possible. How did they do it? Well, on SDA, all the runners had to go off of was their own records. But by 2009, this new community had a great advantage. They had the SDA videos, plus their own live streams, a thriving community filled with players, competitive
there you
single-star
go.
leaderboards, and more.
Nossa.
Runners were able to better
I see.
collaborate, and it led to way more optimization than the game had seen previously.
Ooh.
However, there are a couple caveats about their runs. For one thing, Nico didn't save livestream recordings over 30 minutes long, so the majority of records from this time period are lost. A few videos did survive, and we'll talk about those in a minute,
that was
but most
nasty.
records only exist as text on a web page. And then there's the other caveat. Version differences.
Oh.
All early runs of the game were played on Nintendo 64.
Here
However,
we go.
by 2009, it was very possible to play the game on an emulator. While Speed Demo's archive expressly prohibited the use of emulators, that wasn't a universal rule. And over in Japan, the Mario 64 speedrunning community was essentially starting from scratch. They decided to allow emulators for speedrun submissions. And as it turns out, there's a key difference between emulator and console runs.
Yup.
An emulator has much faster load times and much less lag than a Nintendo 64. The time adds up quickly. Over the course of a 2-hour run, an emulator picks up about a full minute compared to an original console.
Eu não sabia qual era o diferencial de tempo em 120, porque eu sei que em 16 e 8 segundos. Eu acho que em 70, tipo, uns 20 e poucos segundos. Eu não vi a transição. That's crazy, though. Mas, wow, 1 minuto.
It means emulator runners have a roughly 60-second advantage.
Oof.
Players in Japan couldn't agree if they should prioritize original hardware or the fastest version available, so there was high-level competition on both. For the next year and a half, the majority of world records were set on emulator, and most were set by one player, Honey.
Yes! Let's go! Eu amo Honey. Nossa, o Honey é muito foda. Yes!
Repeatedly lowered his time down through 2:05, down to 2 hours flat,
Bang.
before finally achieving a 1:59.
Bang! Sub
On
2.
Nintendo 64, this time would be a full minute slower. But remember, Dragorn's best run on console was a 2:10, so this 1:59 was in a class of its own. How was Honey able to save so much time over Dragorn's run, which was itself considered excellent when it was achieved? Well, luckily, Honey's 1:59 is one of the few runs from this period with surviving video, so we're actually able to see it. And it is nothing short of incredible.
Oh yeah! Bang! Ok, só um triple jump. Oh, bang! Bang!
Once again, we'll start with the movement. Honey used more than just long jumps to move around quickly. He mixed in dives and rollouts to move a little bit faster. This may have saved a second.
Oh, pera, ele errou só de
Felipe.
Felipe.
To move a little bit faster.
Oh, não! Ele errou só de Felipe. Eu tô feliz em ver o Honey. É claro que eu tô feliz em ver o
May
Honey.
have saved a second or two per star, but across the whole run, this adds up to multiple minutes of time save. Beyond the movement, Honey went for numerous faster strategies that were riskier than what Dragorn did, and showed off a higher level of gameplay overall. For instance, in Bob-omb Battlefield, you're intended to open the cannon and launch up to the big island in the sky, which is what Dragorn did.
Clipou.
Instead, Honey gained speed off the slope, then did a triple
Sky jump!
to fly and make it up top.
Sky jump.
Quite a bit more impressive looking. In Whomp's Fortress, he
Owlus!
went for and hit Owlus, a very precise trick where you must triple jump and kick off the side of the cage, then land back inside to collect the star. It only saves a few seconds over using the owl to drop in, but this is the level of execution that Honey could pull off. Another example of strategy improvement is how he handled the level Hazy Mazy Casey Cave, or
What?
HMC for short.
Ok.
This level has many different rooms, but there's no ceiling,
cave.
so if you can get high enough to clear the walls, then you can quickly jump from room to room.
Box triple jump?
For instance, by side-flipping and kicking off the wall in the elevator room, Honey was able to clear the wall and make it to the swimming beast in the cavern star.
Ó, strat raro hoje em dia, hein? A maioria das pessoas ou faz elevator clip ou box triple jump. Essa aí é mais rápida que elevator clip, só que é mais lenta do que box triple jump. Acho que essa strat é tipo uns 19 segundos, elevator clip uns 21 e box triple jump é uns 15. Então...
He did similar tricks all through HMC
Christmas miracle!
to save 2 minutes over Dragorn. This type of gameplay continued even upstairs during some of the game's hardest levels.
Movement.
Just about the only major flaw was a death in the
Mario. Ok. Vamos ser sinceros, unlucky.
Over the rainbow
Culpa do hitbox.
star, which kicked him all the way outside the
Nossa,
castle.
mas essa montanha é
Despite that, it finished 11 minutes faster than Dragorn's SDA run. One of those minutes came from emulator time saves, but the other 10 were legit. Just better gameplay across the entire run. Over the next few months, the 120-star record underwent a period of rapid improvement. These new runners were all pushing each other, breaking new ground and seeing just how far their talent could take them. Remember, 120-star speedruns were still pretty novel, and as much skill as they took, there was room to optimize them more. Throughout 2010, there were several more records set on both emulator and console. Batora, Honey, and Natoshin Elmo traded the record back and forth.
Batora, hein? Quem tá ligado, tá ligado. Batora, meu mano, ele tá aí há um tempão, hein?
Although no video
E Elmo. Shout out Elmo.
exists for any of their runs. Finally, 7 months after the last record with surviving video, we're able to see another one. 156.17 on
Shigeru, porra! Criador do melhor ciclo em qualquer nível do Bowser. Shigeru Cycle. Mano, o bagulho é lindo.
console by a runner named Shigeru. When accounting for emulator time difference, this run was 4 minutes faster than the last record with video. That's a lot of progression over just 7 months. Shigeru's biggest strength was his movement, which can be seen in the Bowser stages.
Oh,
These levels have objects that
Yo, pera aí.
was his
God
movements, which can be
damn.
seen in the Bowser stages.
Boom.
These levels have objects that move on cycles, like elevators and moving platforms. In Bowser in the Dark World, Shigeru's movement collecting the 8 red coins was fast enough to make an earlier cycle, which is still known today as
Shigeru Cycle.
He also saved time by going for front sub in Dire Dire Docks.
Oh,
Boarding from the front has more lag and is more precise than boarding from the back, but it is faster, and Shigeru nailed it. He avoided dying on the Wing Mario over the Rainbow Star, and was just a little bit cleaner overall than what we saw 7 months ago. Then, in the summer of 2010, due to concerns over cheating, the Japanese community decided to split the leaderboards for 120 star. Emulator runs would have one leaderboard, and console runs would have another. This led to the community starting to prioritize console runs, and most runners began to switch away from emulator. By late 2010, pretty much all top runners were playing on console, and directly competed against Shigeru's 156 world record. The next several months were more of the same. Elmo set a new world record time of 155.42. Later in December, Batora got a 154 and then a 152.
Caralho.
All these runs were on
Já tá em 1,52, meu Deus do céu.
console, with no more controversy over which platform was best. In early 2011, Notoshi Elmo got a 151, Honey beat him back with a 150, before Notoshi Elmo came through with a 149.49. This was the first ever sub 150 in Mario 64 history,
Hell yeah, it was.
and remains one of its most popular records, with 12 million views on YouTube.
Caralho.
Not too much to add about these runs. They didn't incorporate anything revolutionary. It was all about cleaner execution and fewer mistakes. Honey's 149 in particular was a masterpiece of consistency.
Honey ou Elmo? Ele falou Honey's 149, mas ele tá mencionando Elmo.
Over the past year,
Acho que ele falou errado.
these runners have been pushing each other to minimize mistakes and execute all strategies cleanly. And Honey's 149 was viewed as the pinnacle, the most
Honey ou Elmo's?
consistent
Eu
run
acho
the
que é o
game had
Elmo's.
ever seen.
Tudo bem.
This was a vibrant, active group that had transformed the way 120
Aliás, ó, Taka. Meu mano Taka também tava no meu pirâmide de goats.
our speedruns were done. The amount of new tricks, the incredible movement, they just kept finding ways to take the record lower.
Mano, how does that fucking hit?
The Japanese community formed 2 years earlier, and in that time they'd taken the world record down by 21 minutes.
21?
During that entire period, nobody outside of Japan was competitive for the 120 star record. The last relevant Western player was Dragorn, back in 2006. Now, 5 years later...
Nossa, agora eu sei quem tá vindo aí. Todo mundo sabe quem tá vindo, né?
was still the fastest time outside of Japan.
Todo mundo sabe.
While games like Super Mario Bros. And Ocarina of Time were growing and thriving, 120 star had essentially been abandoned by the West. But that was about to
Here
change.
we go.
In 2010, a website called Speedruns Live became popular. Speedruns Live allowed you to race a game head-to-head against anybody. It kept track of your time and declared a winner at the end. Speedrunners loved using it, and by late 2010, a group of runners were regularly racing Super Mario 64.
Eu já tô vendo
They
ele.
learned fast strategies to collect all the stars and pushed each other to get better. While their times weren't impressive at first, their frequent races allowed them to improve quickly. By 2011, a few of them had gotten good. Really good. To the point of starting to rival the amazing players over in Japan. 3 players rose above the rest. Their names were Giano, Sicko, and Siglem.
Yes!
By mid-2011, through repeated races against each other, they all managed to get personal bests in the low 150s. Just a few minutes behind the world record. All 3 players were roughly equal in skill. They raced every week, and it was a mix of who came out on top. But that gradually changed. Over time, one player came out on top more often. By the summer of 2011, the winner of the majority of these races was Siglemic. He took the game more seriously. He practiced more often. After setting a personal best of 151.15 in June, Siglemik started to feel that he had a chance to take the record. He grinded for weeks, playing for hours nearly every single day. His time started to approach the record shockingly fast. It took him just months to get times that took most runners years. It was exciting to watch him improve, and many were rooting for him. If he could pull this off, it'd be the first record outside of Japan in half a decade.
Oh.
And then, on July 23rd, 2011, it happened. Siglemik got a 1:49.05, a new world record by 44 seconds. Siglemik did one notable thing in this run that really exemplifies his playstyle. He chose to play Womp's Fortress early, right after collecting the first star. This was so he could go for a trick called Cannonless. You're intended
Caralho,
to get
Cannonless antes do setup existir, mano.
to blast away the wall star by launching out of the cannon, breaking the wall, and revealing the star. However, it's possible to run at the wall from above, then ledge grab, which pushes Mario's hitbox above where he appears. It intersects with the star, and you collect it without having to get in the cannon. This trick is extremely precise. You can run at the wall all you want, and usually you won't ledge grab. So, Siglemik chose to go for this trick very early in the run. If he missed it too many times, then he'd just reset, not having wasted too much time. In this new record, he got Cannonless quickly, setting him off to a great start. But here's the weird thing. Beyond this, while the run was fantastic, some who watched it felt it wasn't quite as impressive as the previous record. Siglemik made more mistakes, his movement wasn't quite as good. It's what you'd expect from someone who'd been running the game for under a year. But his time was faster than Elmo's run. There was no denying it. Something wasn't adding up. Now, most in Japan respected Speed Demo's archive, and when Siglemik's run was posted to the site, they immediately took notice. But instead of being wowed by Siglemik's achievement, many of them were upset. And they had a good reason. See, Siglemik didn't play on an emulator, but he also didn't play on a Nintendo 64. He played on the Wii Virtual Console.
Yep.
This version was what many Western speedrunners played on at the time. It was cheap if you already owned a Wii, and easier than a Nintendo 64. It also just happened to save a full 2 minutes from reduced loads and lag. That meant if Siglemik's run was played on an original console like Elmo's, it probably would have been a 1:51. That's a fair distance from the record. Siglemik's run was objectively worse. The only reason it was faster was because of Virtual Console. Now, Japan had a Virtual Console version too, but it was much slower than the US version. So if a Japanese runner wanted to compete with Siglemik, they'd either have to do so with a 2-minute disadvantage, or import an American Wii, which was very expensive and overall difficult at the time. This could have caused a massive controversy. Runners from all over the world playing on different versions, it would have been a mess. But Siglemik knew he could put an end to this right now. When Honey explained how hard it would be to beat his Virtual Console run, Siglemik responded, "Okay, I'll play on the Nintendo 64 going forward." And just like that, the matter was settled. All the top runners in Japan and the top runner in America would all play on Nintendo 64.
Hell yeah.
To this day, top level Mario 64 competition is...
Oh, mano, mas papo reto, foi muito importante que ele fez isso, né? Tipo, mano, se ele não tivesse feito isso, fudeu, né? Porque todo mundo nos Estados Unidos e tal jogaria no VC e todo mundo no Japão jogaria no 64. O que aconteceria? Todo mundo jogaria no emulador como pra padronizar? Então, isso foi muito importante. Talvez, olhando pra trás, talvez seja melhor que ele falasse: vamos todo mundo jogar no emulador. Mas enfim.
Nearly exclusively done on original console. Over the next few months, Siglemik practiced and adjusted to the Nintendo 64, while Japanese runners continued to excel. That fall, Honey beat the record twice, first with a 1:49.25, then a 1:48.50. But in November, a new runner from Japan took over, Nero. And he became the first to implement a crazy trick at the start of the run. LBLJ.
Mano, Nero. O Nero é muito underrated, mano. Nossa, o Nero é muito underrated. Todo mundo fala do tipo, nessa era, assim, um pouquinho mais pra frente, talvez. As pessoas só falam do Sigilamic, mas o Nero tava bem ali, junto dele, mano. Nero é muito underrated.
Bear with me for a moment, because this is a strange one. In Super Mario 64, there's a trick used in various categories called the backwards long jump, where you build up reverse speed by repeatedly long jumping backwards. Now, LBLJ stands for Lobby Backwards Long Jump. By jumping into an out-of-bounds area accessible from the basement, you can repeatedly BLJ into the basement's ceiling, which extends upward. You land in a black area right outside the front door with a lot of speed built up, then rotate the camera to help navigate Mario toward the 8-star door and through it. What's the benefit of this?
Strat bem foda.
Well, you normally have to collect the first star of the run.
Eu, como muitos, já fui um grande hater de LBLJ, mas eu vou ser sincero, é sick pra caralho. É muito sick. Você, tipo, porra, você vai fora, você vai todo o loop ali, porra, that shit is sick, mano.
Bob on Battlefield.
E, tipo, completamente muda o jeito que você percebe Mario 64 como um speed game. Like, that's fucking dope.
But you can't collect all the stars there until you have the wing cap, unlocked at 10 stars. This means you have to eventually backtrack to Bob on Battlefield once you have the wing cap. With LBLJ, you collect the first star in Bowser in the Dark World, eliminating the need to backtrack and saving 10 seconds. It's a hard trick for not a huge time save, but Nero was good at it and pioneered it in 120-star runs. Ever since Siglemic's Virtual Console run, the Japanese community had picked up where they left off, continuing to improve and lower the record. Honey and Nero had each beaten the record twice, shaving 2 minutes off the time. Meanwhile, Siglemic practiced hard on Nintendo 64, trying to catch up to the runners in Japan. He got better, soon surpassing where he was on Virtual Console. After months of practicing, he once again set his sights on the record. In late 2011, Siglemic started live streaming his attempts to break the 120-star world record. He streamed to a brand new website called Twitch.tv.
Hey, caralho,
and
essa
something
logo.
strange happened. His live stream went viral. Many people had never seen Mario 64 speedruns before.
Mano, as runs do Siglemic na Twitch foram tipo o que começaram speedrunning como um fenômeno, assim. É insano, tipo 120 star e runs de Ocarina da Narcissa Wright. Tipo, esses dois foi o que realmente, tipo, no ocidente fez o speedrun ser uma coisa grande, assim. Antes era muito nichado. Aí o Siglemic tava, porra, sei lá, 10 mil viewers toda a stream. Foi bombou, mano.
And were captivated by Siglemic's level of gameplay. It was a novel concept to play the game like this, and seeing a potential world record live was exciting. His Twitch stream grew quickly. After a couple months, he was regularly pulling thousands of viewers. His community was determined to see him reclaim the record.
Mano, era foda, tipo, ele nem falava. Ele jogava, tipo, basicamente mutado. Tipo, porque ele não falava porra nenhuma. Ele nem lia chat, nem nada. Todo mundo só queria ver ele jogando bem pra caralho. Like, that's so sick.
Loyally watching him play for hours and hours. The hype continued to build, while Siglemic continued to close in on the record. And it all culminated in a run just after Christmas 2011.
Oh yeah.
Siglemic played
Milagre
a bit
natalino.
Hero. He didn't go for LBLJ, but overall executed tricks a little faster.
Shigeron.
He hit Cannonless, got the
Bang.
fast cycle and Fire Sea that Nero missed, and went for a risky triple jump off the fin in
Boom!
Dire
Esse triple jump é muito foda.
After all this, Siglemic made it upstairs 25 seconds ahead of the record. Hype was building in the chat as the
Dois pixels nas imagens.
viewer count climbed into the thousands. The fast execution continued upstairs. His practice from the past few months paid off. He closed out the last few levels, defeated Bowser, and broke the world record in front of 4,500 viewers. This record made Siglemic an internet phenomenon.
Caralho,
Threads appeared
GameFAQs.
on all different forums.
Reddit.
News articles were written. Everyone wanted to hear about the man who'd broken the world record live on stream. Siglemic had escaped from the niche of speedrunning, and
E aí, Flow? Why do I feel so weird about this one? Eu não sei o que você quer dizer com isso.
Entered mainstream pop culture. It was the most attention speedrunning had ever received before.
Oh yeah.
Many wondered how they could get involved, while others were happy to have just witnessed it live. After all was said and done, Siglemic was satisfied and stopped playing 120 Star. So, the Japanese community was able to take over once again. The three top runners in the world were Siglemic, Honey, and Nero. So it was only
Big
fitting
three.
that once Siglemic broke the record, Honey and Nero quickly followed suit.
Tipo, os vídeos do Salt são bons, mas eles não são, tipo, os vídeos do Bismo. Mas como? Mas o que especificamente sobre esse vídeo tá te fazendo sentir estranho? Diferente dos outros vídeos do Salt.
In March of 2012, Honey got a 147.05,
Hell yeah, he
then
did.
Nero got a 146.35.
Hell yeah, he did.
Both new world records. So, the ball was back in Siglemic's court. He resumed streaming attempts to take back the record.
Central dos
But
Walkers.
this time, he ran into some serious adversity.
It's my favorite game. True. Mas, tipo... Mas você se sente estranho em que sentido? Tipo... Você acha que o vídeo não é bom o suficiente pra fazer justiça ao jogo? Ou, tipo... É só meio, tipo...
Throughout the spring and summer of 2012, Siglemic streamed often, but he wasn't able to break through. He was still getting a lot of viewers, captivating the attention of speedrunning fans everywhere. Yet, this time, they weren't rewarded with a new record. Siglemic was in a unique spot. He had an enormous live stream, played the most popular speedrun, and he really wanted to reclaim the record.
O vídeo do Bismuth sobre a história do DK 101% é o que eu acho que... Eu não vi esse vídeo, só não. Mas também essa é só a parte 1, então...
So, that summer, he devised a plan. A plan that, to this day, remains a famous part of speedrunning history. The August
Yeah.
Marathon. Throughout August 2012...
Lembra quando o Simply tentou fazer isso e, tipo, ele... Depois de 2 semanas, ele mentalmente morreu. Ele já terminou, bro? As 3 partes? Como assim? O Summoning Salt? Não. Só tem uma. Lembra quando o Lester tentou fazer isso? Não, mas eu não tava fazendo o negócio do Bismo, eu tava falando do negócio do Salt. Essa é só a parte 1. Lembra quando o Lester tentou fazer isso? Não funcionou, não? Ele não pegou tipo 17 fazendo isso? Começando tipo do 0.
12, Siglemic was going to stream for 12 hours a day.
Mano, tipo, como que o Siglemic 12 horas por dia, todo dia, e tipo, o Cinder tava fazendo 8. Tipo, no máximo 8. Às vezes era tipo 6. Ele conseguiu por tipo 14 dias, aí ele ficou tipo, I can't do this anymore. Como que o cara fez 12 horas por dia? Todo dia. Get a fucking job, man. Tô brincando.
Every single day. And
Esse talvez era o job dele. Ele tinha muito viewer, ele devia ter subido pra caralho.
hopefully lower the world record as much as he could. Siglemic's August Marathon is a legend from the old days of speedrunning. Unlike his previous streams, Siglemic put splits on the screen, so viewers could follow along and see exactly...
Mano, esses splits do Siglemic são muito icônicos, mano. A porra do Excel Core. Eu não sei como ele conseguiu fazer
how
isso.
far ahead or behind he was. The splits in his gameplay on stream were enough to keep viewers captivated.
Quer dizer, tinha um programa de split na época. Essa era a época onde o pessoal ainda usava, tipo... Porque foi justamente o Siglemic que popularizou, tipo, o speedrun e tal. Então, tipo... Na época, você tinha que fazer o que dava, né? Ele só, foda-se. So I get it.
Despite hardly talking at all, not even using a microphone for extended periods, viewers poured into these streams. Every day, he'd regularly have a few thousand viewers as a baseline. When he got on world record pace, it'd go up to
Ah, tem um Donkey Kong ali no canto. Tá vendo isso? Eu nunca percebi isso na footage dele.
7,000, 8,000, even 10,000
Oh, olha isso aqui. 0. Good time save.
viewers or more.
Mano,
And keep in mind, this was back in the year 2012. Despite the speedrunning
That's
community
insane.
being much larger today, these types of numbers are practically impossible
Caralho,
for a
Atriarch.
speedrunner
Do nada, Atriarch.
to achieve. Today's viewing base is divided between hundreds or even thousands of streamers playing live at the same time. But in 2012, Siglemic was one of only a few speedrunning streamers, and he was playing an iconic game at the highest level. It
Marketing
was
Monday
a perfect
mentioned.
storm of conditions that often led to a viewer
Isso é o Facebook? Quando as pessoas usavam o Facebook.
count above 10,000, one of the biggest live streamers in the world. They didn't care about a face cam, a microphone, or any of that.
Hell yeah.
They just wanted to see an amazing player destroy their video game. There's only one problem. Many years ago, Siglemic deleted all of his Mario 64 gameplay from Twitch and YouTube, meaning his August marathon has very little surviving footage. Thankfully, a few of his viewers were
Né, ele só, tipo... Mano, ele pegava muito viewer. Tipo, esse era provavelmente o full-time job dele, né? Ele podia só continuar. Mas... Eu nem sei o que ele tá fazendo hoje em dia. Não foi.
recording his stream during some of his good
Deve
runs,
ser programador
and
ou
certain
assim.
full runs were downloaded before they were deleted from YouTube. But still, much of his August marathon is completely lost to time. That being said, here's what we do know about the marathon. Siglemic
He could have ended up successful like Punkay.
started on August 1st.
That's
and for the
fucked
first
up,
3
man.
days, nothing notable happened. But then on August 4th, he got a run that you're familiar with.
Ai, meu Deus. A run do começo. Oh my god. Yep.
It happened in front of 8,000 viewers during his August marathon. He had to
Olha, oh, calma aí. Chia.
He had to come out of his crouch before jumping, then messed up his ankle.
Mano, é o que eu tava falando no começo quando eu comecei a assistir o vídeo. É culpa dele 100%. Por que o cara tava agachando ali? Eu sei porque ele tava agachando ali. Porque ele achou que ele era bom demais pra 100 coins com carpet. Aliás, eu gostei também, eu falei isso no começo da stream também, mas eu gostei como ele falando sobre como o Siglemic teve essa morte burra também serviu como um foreshadowing de Carpetless, né? Porque ele fala, tipo, essa estrela é muito fácil. É só você ficar parado no tapete. Então, tipo... O que os splits do Excel te lembram? Ok, eu não vou clicar nisso agora. Só pra avisar, eu tô gravando isso, eu vou botar no meu canal secundário, então eu não quero... Eu assisto depois não.
Toward the star. As painful as this was, Siglemic was at the top of his game, and with daily 12-hour streams, there was no doubt he'd get another chance soon.
No, daily 12
Sure enough,
hours,
on day 5 of
This
the
guy's
marathon,
fucking-
he got another run on record pace.
Yep.
Not quite as fast as what he had yesterday, though. He made mistakes upstairs, but nothing catastrophic. And after 5 days, 60 hours of streaming, Siglemic managed to break through.
Mano, pra mim isso me lembra os runners de Punch-Out, né? Que, tipo... Eles ainda usam, sei lá, que bagulho de split bizarro que eles usam. Essa maratona de 12 horas foi, tipo, feita uma delas e nunca aconteceu. Só, tipo, não tem evidência que aconteceu.
Oh my god, that was really the world record.
14,000 viewers had just witnessed a new
Mano,
world
14
record.
mil.
Once again, the news made it around the internet.
O Suide, ou tipo, o Simple é o maior runner de Mario 64. Quando ele tá em WRP, isso Simple tá, tipo, 5 mil viewers. Like, tipo, isso é quando a Twitch não era grande, tá ligado? Like, that's crazy. Quer dizer, também, talvez seja por isso, né? A Twitch não era tão grande, então, tipo, what the fuck were you gonna watch? EC was the greatest Mario runner of all time.
But this was only August 5th. He still had more than 3 weeks to go. His record was 146.23. If he could clean up mistakes in Tiny Huge Island and Rainbow Ride, a 145 was within his reach. Not much happened on day 6, but on day 7, Siglemic set another new record, 146.21.
Tem música paródia feita por Seguilham da época. É assim que você sabe que a cultura de stream não mudou nada, né? É igual. Apesar de ser muito menor na época, é sempre fucking tem. É só que agora, em vez de você fazer pro Seguilham, que você vai pro Ludwig.
Just a 2-second improvement. Unfortunately, no footage of this run survives
Snipping tool! Caralho, snipping tool mentioned.
today. All we have are a couple screenshots from the end
Deixa eu ver se eu reconheci alguém no chat. Não? Ah, não, bom. Bebop ainda, né? Claro. Para isso.
run, showing his splits and the chat that was popping off.
Sungiana. Ah, não, esse é o cara que ele mencionou antes, né? Que era tipo, tinha os 3 Best Western Runners. Era o Giana, né? Era um deles.
The August Marathon was already a huge success. In only a week, Siglemik had broken the record twice and had the attention of the entire speedrunning community. Still 24 days to go. The 12
Mano, a porra do cursor em cima do negocinho, ele customizando ali. That's so fun.
The 12-hour streams continued, and just 2 days later, something genuinely shocking happened.
Oh.
The 145 was achieved by Honey.
Oh! Surprise, motherfucker!
While all eyes were on Siglemik,
Honey
had been doing 120-star runs too. Not quite as much, but still several hours per day. The final
Let's go,
time
Honey.
was 145.41, and the video still exists in its entirety.
Hell yeah.
The most notable part was a new trick he went for,
Bless!
pillarless. Normally, to enter the top of the pyramid, you must reach the top of all 4 pillars to cause the pyramid's top to fly off. Pillarless is a
Me getting that pyramid top got me flying off. Oh.
complicated trick that skips this. You throw and re-grab a bob-omb just before it explodes,
Yup.
pushing
Ó,
Mario
esse é o do
backwards,
Chia, hein?
then enter a
Com
stage
o single
while
jump
hands-free
curtinho.
holding and carefully navigate inside the top of the pyramid. It's very risky to go for in a long
50
120-star speedrun.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Honey didn't add anything new. He simply played very consistently, especially
Essa
in
rota
Rainbow
era
Ride,
muito
where Siglemik had struggled so much.
Eu acho que nenhum desses dois tá fazendo o BLJ, né? Era só o Nero que tava fazendo, eu acho.
Siglemik was a good sport about being beaten.
Like. Did it the early Womp Slate. Fuck, that's so shit. Womp Slates? Tipo, incluindo o Canonless No Sock Folder. Porque o Siglemik ele fazia early, né? Não, é o BLJ e o Nero já tava fazendo. Anteriormente nesse vídeo ele menciona que o Nero pegou tipo 1 e... O que era? Tipo 1 e 40... 1 e 48 com o BLJ. So... Quer dizer, faz sentido que o Siglemik e o Honey não fariam, porque é só 10 segundos, né? So, fucking whatever.
After all, he had 22 days left to beat him back. Surely that would be enough time, right? Well, it took him 3 hours. This run
Ei!
too has become lost to time, but on the same evening as Honey's record,
É o Cheese Punky type. Quer dizer, a gente vai... Ele vai falar disso no episódio 2, né? Mas enfim.
Lemick beat him with a 145.35.
Hell yeah.
We have but one screenshot of this run, showing 7,300.
Vamos ver esse chat. A não ser que você conheça quem Gregor Ticklins é. Eu não reconheço ninguém aqui. Womp. Caralho, pera aqui. Nossa, o Womp 73, maluco. Oh, que nojo. Jesus Christ.
100 viewers losing their mind in the chat. Very little is known about the run itself. Judging by his splits, there was a major time loss in shifting Sandland, and he capitalized on time save in Rainbow Ride. In just the first 9 days of his August marathon, Siglemik had set 2 records, been beat
Volta pro chat, deixa eu ler. Aí. Pô, o WTEC ele fez o barra mi lá, mano. É sempre os attention seeker fazendo BLB3 é foda. Eu não conheço mais ninguém.
Sandland, and he capitalized on time save in Rainbow Ride. In just the first 9 days of his August marathon, Siglemek had set 2 records,
Let's grab.
been beaten,
No.
and then reclaimed the record. He couldn't have asked for a more exciting start. These 12-hour streams continued every day for the rest of the month, with thousands of viewers watching.
Quer dizer, eu vou dizer, em defesa do Simple... Em defesa... Puta que pariu. Em defesa do Simple, o Simple ele tava fazendo Concan com o Mike. VC26... What? Ah, ele nem tem um split de VC, that's crazy. É... Como os tempos mudam.
all times. But over the final 22 days of August, he didn't set any new records. While we have a poor account of these remaining 22 days, Siglemek was known to have had some close calls. On August 23rd, he had a beautiful run. All this info comes from a single post on...
Nossa, o Siglemek com... I don't feel like playing right now. Fuck yeah. Tell him, diva. Caralho, o cara é... Todo mundo é mod. Parece meu chat, essa porra.
Reddit.
Olha, é o 5-up.
Seems to have had a modest lead, got a huge time save in shifting Sandland, then gained more time upstairs. He was about a minute ahead of his 1:45.35, on pace for a mid-1:44. But something went horribly wrong in Rainbow
Don't feel like
Ride.
playing them right now.
These sorts of paces happened multiple times through the rest of August. The month ended with no new records, but it felt like a 1:44 was right on the doorstep. Even though the daily 12-hour streams were done, Siglemek was still motivated. And right on cue, on September 1st, he came through with the first ever 1:44.
Ei, caralho, 1º de setembro, mano. Ele tirou a pressão do Mario Madness. Olha só o que acontece.
This record is notable for being one of very few records from Siglemek that survived in its entirety.
Hell yeah.
We can watch it from start to finish. And a pretty significant change in this run is Siglemek's route through the lobby.
Oh,
He played Cool Mountain later, then
There we
saved
go.
Jolly Roger Bay as the last level before going upstairs.
okay. Sure.
This worked out well, as
What the
despite
hell?
falling off the sub in Dire Docks, he opened up a 44-second lead over the
Ele
record.
caiu do sub em Dead
He used the same route upstairs, which had been standard for quite some time now. Wet Dry World first, followed by Tiny Huge Island,
Sure.
Tall Mountain, and
Sure.
Snowman's Land.
Sure.
Then up to Tippy for Tick-Tock Clock and Rainbow Ride.
Sure.
Of these levels, Tiny Huge Island was a bit
Oh,
slow at times,
não pegou?
especially on the
Não, não
100
pegou.
coin star. But the key to success in 120
Volta pra ti já.
Island, Tall
Isso.
Mountain now,
Ti já?
Wet Dry World first, followed by Tiny
Where is
Huge
he
Island,
going?
Tall Mountain, and coin star. But the key to success in 120 star is consistency, and Siglemek avoided any huge mistakes. It's what he needed to get a 144.52.
É,
And once again,
Tango,
the
fuck.
record blew up online. Forum threads, blog posts,
Wow.
par for the course for Siglemek. This guy captured the gaming community's attention like no speedrunner had ever done before. Every record was in front of thousands of viewers, and was heard by many thousands more in the following days. It really can't be overstated the impact Siglemek had on speedrunning back in 2012.
Yep.
Through his August marathon and hundreds of hours of dedication, he'd achieved a 144 while making speedrunning more popular than ever.
o WR de VC? Ah, aquele fudidaço. Porque ele já botou o 1.49, né? Que era VC, enfim. Que ele comentou que o Siglemek trocou pra N64. Mas seria muito engraçado se ele botasse o WR fudidaço. Com a cor toda fudida. Eu não sei se ele vai, mas seria engraçado.
Throughout the rest of 2012, Siglemek played the game off and on. His motivation dried up a bit once there were no threats to his record. He developed a cycle where he wouldn't play for several weeks, then came back and
His motivation dried up a bit after playing fucking 360 hours of Mario 64.
did a 12 or 24 hour stream. It seemed like a perfect run with his strategies and skills could be a 143. He had a high 144 right
That's
now,
a whole day.
so he'd have to take another minute off. It was possible by cleaning up mistakes, but sustaining that level of gameplay over an hour and a half would be tough. In
Mano, esse é o
October,
foda. Tipo, o Siglemek não era só o melhor runner. Ele era o mais degen também. o que é uma combinação perigosa. Ele tem a skill do Reage com o degen do Reage.
Siglemek took a step in that direction with a 144.23. As opposed to his last record, practically nothing is known about this run. No footage exists, and no splits have been provided. All we have are a couple screenshots someone posted to Reddit seconds after...
Vamos ver, tem alguém aqui? A gente tá quase chegando em Prime Pancake. Actually true. Actually true, my fault. Mano, eu acho que seria muito foda se em alguma dessas prints tem alguém sem... Para Joke Fan. Caralho, tem um cara chamado Joke Fan que falou, oh my god, I need to tell my mom. Eu quero muito que apareça em uma dessas prints uma pessoa sem mod nem nada, só que é um nome que, tipo, instantaneamente a gente reconhece, tá ligado? Seria um crazy pull. Nossa, Joke Fan.
The end of the run. Siglemek continued the sporadic playstyle over the next...
Todas essas streams se chamam I seriously need to practice.
Next couple months. And on December 19th, he came through with one more world record. 144.01. This is another run with a full surviving video. His only significant mistake downstairs was when he messed up pillarless and died, costing him 25 seconds. Upstairs, he had a slow rainbow ride star when he missed the switch.
Oh, not notched? Hello?
Upstairs, he had a slow...
Buddy, hold left.
Rainbow
buddy,
ride
hold left.
Star when he missed the...
Looks like flow. Objetivamente impossível de você cometer esse erro. Bro was off notch.
Switch and then failed the backup. Those were his biggest mistakes across an hour and 44 minutes.
Noob Nation.
If he'd only been 2 seconds faster, this would have been the 143. But it was still a really solid run, and a big cut off the record. This run finally satisfied Siglemek.
Acho que é optimal não no chat. I guess. Eu não sei se ele tá fazendo de propósito. Eu não sei se a otimização tava nesse nível, né?
He was now ahead of second place by a minute and a half.
Hell yeah.
And his motivation died down even more. He was the king of Super Mario 64. He had the notoriety, the name recognition, and of course, his records spoke for themselves. When anyone thought of Mario 64 speedrunning, they thought of Siglemek. He ran 120 star live at Awesome Games Done Quick in January 2013. This was the first time most people had seen him before. Many called his run the best part of the week-long marathon. Entering 2013, Siglemek's streams really slowed down. He went months at a time without playing. A 143 was still possible, but it wasn't a high priority for him. There was no telling how long it'd take for him to be dethroned. Way ahead of everyone else, with his legacy already set in stone, Siglemek rode off into the sunset.
Hey.
On August 18th, 2013, the Super Mario 64 community woke up to some pretty shocking news. A player named Hyacinth27 had supposedly just beaten Siglemek's 120 star record.
É isso? É o que você tá
The new
falando?
time was 1:43:37, and he had streamed it live.
Is this it?
Many had never heard of this guy before, and
Yes.
now it seemed like he'd somehow
Yes.
beaten Siglemek to the 143.
Yes!
Supportive message.
Mano, por favor, mostra footage da run fudida de VC do Siglemek. Please, it's so good.
Poured in. Even Twitch themselves congratulated Hyacinth. But how could this happen? What was going on? Well, while Siglemek got massive attention for his 120 star records in 2012, a group of runners was trying to get good in the background on Wii Virtual Console, which, as we know, would give them...
That's what we call bitch made. That's bitch made.
2-minute advantage. There was still no official ruling on Virtual Console runs, so they knew a faster run might be considered the official world record, even if it was worse played than Siglemek's runs on console. Over time, most of these runners gave up, but one kept going. Hyacinth.
Yep.
Throughout early 2013, he got good on Virtual Console.
He got good.
By August, with the built-in advantage, he was good enough to beat Siglemek's time, technically achieving the first 143 in Super Mario 64 history. and controversy erupted. Hyacinth was a very good player, but the footage showed he wasn't on Siglemic's level. He got some hard tricks, like cannonless and pillarless, but he had plenty of slow moments. And overall, his movement wasn't as clean either. The community was divided on how to treat this run. Some felt it was a legit new world record, and Siglemic should have been playing on Virtual Console all along.
If one's faster for some reason, why not play it? Os caras não tem a lore. Tá faltando conhecimento histórico na cachola, amigo. Ele jogava no VC, mas é porque ele tem empatia pelos runners japoneses. That shit's important, bro.
Others disagreed and thought Virtual Console was its own separate category. It was a valid question. Do you prioritize original hardware or fastest version available? There was no set way of dealing with it. How did Siglemic feel about it?
Calma, galera.
There was no
Silêncio. The Marshmallow está falando.
set way of dealing with it. How did Siglemic feel about all this? Well, he wasn't too happy. Here was this new guy,
Ele vai mostrar.
clearly not as good and
Ele
with
vai
an
mostrar.
inferior run,
Ele vai mostrar.
claiming world record based off his technicality. Siglemic could have been playing on Virtual Console too, but remember, he chose not to all those years ago so that he could be on equal footing with Japanese runners. Hyacinth did the exact opposite. He specifically picked Virtual Console so he could have an advantage. So, Siglemic devised a plan. He created a brand new
Base
Twitch
earn god.
Base Earn God.
Yes.
He stuck a weird looking timer in the top left. He booted up Mario
timer
64 on
vertical.
Virtual Console. He distorted the colors to deliberately make it look horrible. He played copyrighted music in the background. And within hours, he beat the run
It's
that
so
Hyacinth took
fucking
months
funny.
to achieve.
I am now world champ at Mario 64. Oh yes.
Siglemic had made a statement. Wii Virtual Console was its own category. Nintendo 64 was the only legit way to run the game.
Well, calma aí, the only legit way is crazy.
Just like he'd done in 2011, it more or less ended the platform debate. The
Based. Nossa, até em 2013 o pessoal já falando based.
recognized world record
So
was
based.
Siglemic's 144.01 on Nintendo 64. And to this day, nobody else has ever threatened the world record on anything other than an original Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
After that curious saga was over, things went back to normal. Siglemic did attempts every now and then, but for the most part he left the 120-star record alone. He was tired of resetting over and over again early for Canonless. It wasn't too fun. But finally, in early 2014, Siglemic started to get some legitimate competition. For the first time since Honey in 2012, somebody moved within half a minute of his world record. The runner's name
É meu mano?
was Punky.
Yup.
Punky started running the game in
Here we go.
2012, inspired by old school runners like Giano and later Siglemic. He began streaming in
Punkas.
2013 and steadily lowered his 120-star PB from the 150s to the
Mano,
140s.
a porra da fonte Impact no live split. Ou não, sei lá, no Lanfair, ou sei lá que porra desse programa é. É. Who fucking cares? É. Mano, mas vamos lá. Dava pra deixar o split mais bonitinho, né? Que porra é essa? Primeiro que o nome do split é só tudo minúsculo. 120 star new route. Go. Não tem porra nenhuma. É. Chose to use impact.
Steadily lowered his 120-star PB from the 150s to the 140s, gradually approaching Siglemic's level. This slow and methodical march downward culminated in a 144.30, the closest anyone had been to Siglemic in years. Punk's run had a particularly slow start, with a bad Womps Fortress and Cool Mountain, but that just showed he had more time to save. The potential was there to get a 143. With Punke closing in, Siglemic ramped up his attempts again. He was so close to a 143. Just 2 more seconds and he'd be satisfied. He started doing 24-hour streams of 120 star, and supposedly had some amazing attempts. A Reddit post from March 18th details one run that was on pace for a massive record deep, but Sig made catastrophic mistakes at the end to kill it. This continued into April. Siglemic just couldn't beat his 144.01. Then on April 22nd, it was Punke coming through with another PB, 144.11.
Imagina se o Puncation tivesse pego o primeiro 1.43 e o Clint Stevens nunca tivesse dado crash out no Sig. É o efeito borboleta. Menos 1.49 é crazy.
Performed live in front of thousands of viewers. He was now just 10 seconds away from Siglemic. This run was also on 143 pace deep, but he died on Rainbow Ride going for the Lakitu back.
Quer saber? Nem vou chamar de noob. That's a shitty ass strat.
You're intended to go above the red coins to get to the cruiser, but by precisely wall kicking and then bouncing off Lakitu, you can take a shortcut to get there faster. It's difficult, and Punke died going for it.
With the hard beat.
Had he not, this would have been the first ever 143.
Had he not.
Siglemic was on the verge of this slipping away. He'd been dominant ever since the record was a 146. It seemed like 143 would be his natural end goal, but now Punke had swooped in.
You're supposed to
And
use the
it might be
carpets,
too
buddy.
late. Determined to get the 143, he started up a stream the same day as Punke's
Game shot.
144.11. Just as usual, Siglemic played for hours, much of that time spent at the start of the game. But eventually, he got a run going, and it was evident that this time, he was locked in.
He was locked in. Eu lembro...
No.
Bem, eu lembro a primeira vez que o Summoning Salt usou lock in num vídeo. Eu não lembro exatamente qual vídeo era, mas eu lembro quando ele falou, eu tava tipo, fuck yeah, man. Acho que foi no do Tetris. Acho que foi no vídeo do Tetris. He was locked in. Eu fiquei tipo, fuck yeah. Not today.
Gradually worked his...
Oh, isso foi a hora, hein? Not today.
No.
That was fucking aura, bro. Damn.
He gradually worked his way through the basement. Hazy Maze Cave, Lethal Lava Land, Big Boo's Haunt. He made small mistakes, but nothing huge. Star after star went down.
Vampire.
He eventually made it upstairs, exactly 1 second ahead of the record.
106.
Everything intensified now. He was entering the home stretch, but also some of the game's hardest levels. Despite this, everything went smoothly until he played Tall Tall Mountain. Siglemic failed to enter the wall and had to bail to another star. Not a huge mistake, but without splits he couldn't tell how bad it was. After, things went well.
Oh, pior que 1 de 6 uptime é tipo muito bom.
But
That's
he had a
like
rough
really
100
good.
coin star in TikTok clock. He missed one single coin from a question mark block. And when he tried to chase it down, it had fallen over the edge.
Unfortunate.
So, he had to go out of his way to collect more coins. After TikTok clock, Siglemic was 4 seconds behind the record. The 143 might still be possible, but from here to the end, Siglemic would need near perfection.
He's locked in. He has to gold bits. Desviou do amp. Fucking tell that bitch.
Alright, 143. That's it.
That's it.
I just got 143.
That's fucking it. Aura do Siglemic. Aura.
That was sick.
Overwhelming
That was sick.
relief. After years of the 144.01 being on top, finally, the 143 was real. And despite Punke making a push, Siglemic was the one to achieve it. While he did have his share of slowdowns, the ending of this run was amazing. Close to perfect gameplay throughout Rainbow Ride and Bowser in the Sky. An extremely well-deserved record, and a massive milestone in the game's history. That being said, most thought this record wouldn't last long. It seemed inevitable that, any day now, Punke was going to take over.
Punke.
His time was on a collision
O que
course.
ele falou parecendo um slur?
Any day now, Punke was
Punke.
going to take over. His time was on a collision course with Siglemic, and sure enough, just a day later, Punkei got a 144.05.
O jeito que ele não fala Punkei, ele fala Pun. Tipo, o N é muito Punkei.
The runners were separated by just 12 seconds, but instead of defending his record, Siglemic switched categories. He'd already gotten what he wanted from 120 star, so he was content to sit aside and watch what Punkei could do.
Punkei. Cara, nossa. Sempre que ele fala, eu fico tipo... "Ugh."
For a few weeks, Punkei's time still remained at 144.05, yet his abilities improved all the while. He was building up the skills he'd need once that world record chance presented itself, and on May 22nd, he got that chance. First off, Punkei still wasn't going for LBLJ. Why?
Base.
Well, for one thing, there was a misconception of how much time it saved. We know today it saves about 10 seconds, but back then it was believed to be a much smaller time save. But skipping LBLJ was also reflective of Punkei's playstyle.
Eu imaginava que se eles fossem achar que salvavam uma quantidade diferente de tempo, eu imaginaria que eles achariam que salvaria mais tempo, não menos. Porque na minha mente eles estão tipo, yo, that shit looks fucking crazy, bro. Gotta save 2 minutes. Interessante que eles achavam que salvava menos.
In general, he had the reputation of being a bit of a safe runner. He was capable of great movements and had an extremely high skill level, but he didn't always go for the riskiest strategies. Compared to Siglemic, he lost a small amount of time from his gameplay, yet also made fewer mistakes. It meant he got more runs going, with more chances at the record. In this particular run, Punkei fell a bit behind early, but avoided a death that Siglemic took during pillars.
Rocked.
So heading upstairs, he was 15 seconds ahead of the record. The name of the game upstairs is consistency. Since 120 star runs are so long, filled with non-stop tech and execution, small mistakes are inevitable through the run. The key is to avoid the big mistakes, especially upstairs.
That was a big mistake.
That was Punkei's specialty. Even though his movement was a bit slower, he made up time by making fewer mistakes. This consistency gave him a lead over the record going into Bowser. But despite over an hour and a half of clean gameplay, he still had to land 3 Bowser throws, or it would all be for nothing.
It all comes down to throws. Meu Deus, laggiest footage of all time. Nossa senhora. Dá agonia assistir. Pior que eu nem sei se ele acerta isso. Ele acerta? Yep. Nice.
I did it.
Ah, esse é o pop-off do Punkei, onde, tipo, ele fala palavrão pela primeira vez. E, tipo, o jeito que ele fala, tipo, I fucking did it. I fucking did it. É muito bom.
I did it.
The most prestigious
Ele não
record
tocou
in
muito,
all of
mas, tipo, se ele continuasse o áudio, ele ficava falando I fucking did it. Tipo, ele fala fucking. Muito bom.
Speedrunning had just changed.
Porque, tipo, eu não sei se você sabe, mas nessa época, o Punk, ele era, tipo, sempre, ele era PG, tá ligado? Ele não falava palavrão. O que é estranho quando você vê a stream dele hoje em dia.
This was the first time since Siglemic's August marathon that he didn't hold the world record. The community celebrated Punkei's achievement, stunned to see a new name at the top. And it was well deserved.
Oh, yeah.
Punkei had developed the best
Punkei.
consistency that the game had ever seen. Throughout the summer of 2014, Siglemic and Punkei raced each other regularly. They formed a great rivalry since
Farting
they were
fairy,
nearly
not
equal in
swearing
skill,
Sally.
even if their playstyles were a bit different.
Ah, pera. Eu acho que eu sei. Eu lembro que o Salt ele tinha falado que se ele fosse fazer uma série, ele ia acabar o vídeo com um certo clipe. Eu acho que ele vai acabar o vídeo com o clipe. Eu acho que você sabe do que eu tô falando.
He enjoyed racing. Siglemic had no interest in going for the record anymore. After so many years of playing, he'd done what he wanted with 120 star, and his motivation to lower the record was gone. So now, that meant it was Punkei's game.
Pera, what? Você vai ver. Eu acho que ele vai acabar o vídeo com esse clipe. Eu acho que ele vai acabar o vídeo com esse clipe.
Did he keep improving the record? The thing is, Punkei hadn't been at this as long as
25-minute ad read.
Plummet. Month after month, his movements and consistency got a little bit better. So, Punkei believed that if he kept going, he could eventually make it to the next minute barrier. While the 143 was associated with Siglemic, maybe Punkei's time could be the 142.
Go for the 142.
That July,
Go for the 142. Ah, você sabe qual que é.
he embarked on a journey to try and get it.
Nice dude. You did it. Nice dude.
Fires
Good
if
gameplay.
LOL era o YouTube dele. Armada jump scare. Do nada. Simplesmente uma armada na porra do vídeo. Imagina se, tipo, no terceiro episódio o South tá falando, tipo, do Reage, tá ligado? E aí, tipo, nada ele fala Now. Verdade. No mod, no VIP, immediately recognized. Ele fala, tipo, agora, eu sei que eu tô falando da história de 120 SAR, mas é importante comentar em outro evento importante que aconteceu na história de Mario 64. E aí ele começa a falar do clipe do Armada Farts. Por, tipo, 10 minutos. That should be fucking sick.
Alright, that's a new world record. I'll take it. I still don't think this run is that good.
Who the fuck is Farthest Law? É isso que eu tava dizendo, mano. Não sei porque eu sabia tudo isso.
No!
Oh!
No, dude! Why? Are you freaking kidding me?
Meu, ele não fala palavrão. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh.
No! No, dude!
Por que o Punk falando nessa época parece que ele tá sempre sorrindo? Tá ligado? Parece que ele tá sempre tipo, oh no, dude.
No, dude!
While the records kept coming, Punkei couldn't help but get frustrated. He'd come so close to the 142, only to have it slip away in the final
I think he
seconds.
is.
By late July,
Maybe.
he'd set 5 world records in a row. Pretty incredible given how nobody
Eu
had
acho
been
que
able
é
to
hora,
beat from
Flo.
Siglemic for so long.
Eu acho que é
Now
hora.
that Punkei had taken over, he was pushing the game
Eu acho
to
que é
new
hora.
heights, but the 142 still eluded.
Por que ele botou esse tweet? Por que ele botou esse tweet no vídeo? Anyone wanna be my girlfriend after 142? Ponto de interrogação, espaço, 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 ponto de interrogação. Fuck. Oh, man.
On July 28th, Punkei opened a 10-second lead early. He maintained that lead all the way through the basement, with his only mistakes being relatively minor. He then balanced a big time save in Fire Sea with a bad Jetstream star in Dire Dire Docks.
Hey.
So he made it upstairs with a 16-second lead,
Nice.
on pace for a 142.
105.
He then played a classic Puncation upstairs.
Hey.
Consistent and clean,
Classic
without any
Puncation
huge
upstairs.
time losses or time gains. Ahead by 19 seconds, Punkei entered Bowser in the Sky. He was far enough ahead that even with a mistake, he would still be able to get the 142. But the pressure was on. He still had to avoid
Oh,
dying
nossa.
or
Foi
something
por
else
muito pouco
catastrophic.
que ele pegou
And
aquilo.
we remember what happened last time.
Is this? Eu não sei o que isso é.
Okay, nice. I think I'm safe from dying now.
Don't say that! Why would you... Ah, não! Eu sei o que é, Flo. Agora que tá nessa parte, eu sei o que é. Oh my fucking god. Play the clip. Play the clip.
I swear. I can't believe this. I cannot believe this.
I can't believe this. Oh!
Are you freaking kidding me? I think that just ended it.
Okay, why did Punke keep failing this jump?
That's...
Well, this clip explains what's going
Hey!
on. While the axle appears to be rotating around its center, its hitbox actually rotates around one of its points. So if you're standing on the wrong platform and jump at the wrong time, you'll run into the hitbox. Punke didn't know this, and it cost him a ton of time. Still, maybe there was just enough room to eke out the one.
Por que isso, tipo, acontece raramente? Essa plataforma, tipo, geralmente não tá num ciclo que você, tipo, normalmente pega? Ou é só porque, tipo, a gente como runners, por, tá ligado? Seleção natural, a gente adaptou. E a posição que a gente faz ao long jump no elevador nunca bate, mesmo se tá o negócio girando ali. I don't know.
142.
Nossa. That's so sad.
That was it, man. That was
That's so
142. I just lost 142 because the invis wall just got me 3 times. Like, are you kidding me?
He missed it by just 2 seconds. Hitting the invisible wall twice would have been okay, but 3 times was too much. He couldn't have found a more disheartening way to lose it. This was the sort of thing that might have haunted Punke for months. He could have been thinking about it every time he had a run go deep, and never quite been able to close it out. But Punke was getting so many chances, and was improving so much, that he powered through the pain. And just a few days later, he came back and finished the job. 142.59. By the skin of his teeth, this was the run Punke'd been chasing after all summer. And yet, he barely seemed to care. Probably because he knew his work wasn't done yet.
I think it's because he's just depressed, man.
The run started with a slow Womp's Fortress, and in Fire Sea he fell down to miss the cycle. Those alone were 30 seconds of possible time save, not to mention other small mistakes throughout the run. So, rather than being satisfied with the 142, Punke just kept going. On August 16th, he got a run that capitalized on the Womp's Fortress and Fire Sea time save, but got hit by a shark in Dire Dire Docks.
Bad. No.
Despite that,
O cara, 2 segundos antes,
in Dire Dire Docks.
sabia. E ele não parou. Just stop pressing the A button, man. It's easier than swimming. Ele tava bad. E continuou indo.
Bad.
Simply. Aquele clipe eu esqueci.
Bad. No.
Despite that, he kept the run very clean all through upstairs, and going into Rainbow Ride, he had a 13-second lead.
Nearly perfect Rainbow Ride so far. This is exactly what I need. I don't want to get like
Surely he doesn't.
world record improvement.
Surely he doesn't die.
But I don't want to get an improvement by like 2 seconds or something.
Uh-oh.
I just screwed it up.
Shark, eu não sei.
Yeah,
Você tava falando. Eu achei que. Você tá falando de um clipe onde o Simple morre pro tubarão. Talvez tenha sido outro run, na verdade. Eu não sei quem gritou Shark. Talvez tenha sido o Simple. I don't know. Não, mas nessa época eu não acho que. Porque o Simple. Nice. I don't wanna get it by 2 seconds. 2 segundos. Eu não acho que nessa época eles se conheciam ainda. Porque o Simple e o Cheese foi meio que juntos, assim, né? Então, tipo.
Okay, so maybe not the record he was looking for.
Yeah.
But he wasn't done yet. About a month later, Punke got another small improvement. 142.55.
Mano, ele tá indo de 2 em 2 segundos. Oh my god.
This time, he had slowdowns in Lethal Lava Land and the Vanish Capstar, but made up for it with a very...
Não, eu sei que o Simple faz o run faz tempo. Obviamente. Mas que eu vi no vídeo de... Teve aquela entrevista do Charlie Brown 64. E o Cheesy e o Simple só conheceram o Pankey quando, tipo... Foi depois do incidente do Siglemic que a gente vai ver no final desse vídeo.
Very clean upstairs. No death in Rainbow Ride. It all balanced out for another unsatisfying record. Finally, on September 24th, Pankey got the type of run he was looking for. Over the past few weeks, his movement had been getting better and better, and it all came together in this one run. He gained time through the lobby, through the basement, and made it upstairs nearly a half minute ahead of the record. This was the fastest pace anyone had ever been on, and his clean gameplay continued upstairs. Pankey gained time through the next 4 levels, and entering Tippy, he had a 40-second lead. In the last few levels, he finally faltered a bit. A coin fell off once again in TikTok clock, so he had to do the backup. And in Rainbow Ride, he made an all-too-familiar mistake.
Yeah.
Still, he managed to keep a good chunk of his lead, and it culminated in a final time of 140...
14 segundos, retake that.
2:41. A sizable world record, close to what he was looking for. Had Tippy gone as smoothly as the rest of the run, this might have felt close to unbeatable. Pankey was now more than a full minute ahead of Siglemic's last record. This was a similar level of domination to what Siglemic had a couple years ago. Pankey had done it through a combination of consistency and gradual movement improvements. He saved fractions of a second here and there on stars. That adds up to a decent time save across all 120 stars.
Será que veio o nome
Pankey was the king. At least until October 2014, when perhaps the biggest discovery in 120-star history was made. Alright, you're familiar with Canonless.
Okay.
This trick was the bane of 120-star runners'
Suck
existence.
folder!
It was
Suck
effectively
folder!
random. Even if you performed it correctly, you just ran at the wall and hoped to collect the star. It worked around 20% of the time, and if you didn't get it within a couple tries, you were forced to reset the run. It was possible to get stuck in this loop for a long time, and top 120-star runners hated it. But in October 2014, it was Sockfolder to the rescue. Sockfolder is a legendary glitch hunter who has found setups for tricks in popular speedruns like Ocarina of Time and Super Mario Bros.
Yep.
One day, he posted on Twitter, for fun...
For fun. Eu não sabia desse tweet. Eu gostei desse tweet. For fun, I'll just fucking fix all your problems. I will revolutionize Mario 64. For fun.
I will make a 100% canonless setup.
That's crazy.
And that's exactly what he did. After a few tweaks to simplify things, Sockfolder had invented a setup to hit canonless every single time.
Isso foi tipo quando Jesus voltou 3 dias depois. Só que se ele nunca tivesse... Never mind.
Grab the wall next to the plank and pull yourself up. Adjust the camera, then backflip onto the plank. Punch once, hold down to grab the edge of the plank, then adjust the camera once more, pull yourself up, and hold down to run off the edge. If done correctly, you'll grab the star every time. There's several steps involved, but none of it's difficult, and it wastes only a few seconds compared to running at the wall. This was so huge for the speedrun. Runners no longer had to waste hours trying canonless over and over. They could get so many more runs going. Now, it was only a matter of time before Pankey would get another.
Mano, é bizarro, né? Ser um runner de Mario Kart nessa época deve ser como foi quando o Crystalith descobriu o Canonless, né? Ou Carpetless, quer dizer. Tipo, o sentimento de tipo, mano... Porque assim que aquele setup de Carpetless foi postado e o pessoal descobriu que era viable, o mesmo pensamento entrou na mente de todo mundo. Tipo, mano, isso vai mudar tudo. Isso é uma nova era. Deve ter sido igual quando isso aconteceu. Quando o Sockfolder descobriu isso. Talvez um pouco diferente, porque esse é um setup pra fazer algo que você já podia fazer antes e que perde tempo. Mas é só, tipo... Cara, você pode fazer 4 vezes mais runs No mínimo, tá ligado? É tipo insano.
A record improvement. He continued doing attempts in late 2014. Keep in mind, the record he was up against had a very fast start. It was only in Tippy that it began to bleed time. So on December 18th, despite falling as far behind as 28 seconds, he was able to bring it back. He had a very clean tick-tock clock to save 14 seconds, pushing him into the lead. And in the home stretch, Punke preserved that lead. He landed all 3 Bowser throws and closed out the run as a 142.32. This was Punke's 11th consecutive world record. Since taking over, he'd taken exactly 1 minute and 20 seconds off the 120 star record.
What? That's fucking fire. 1 minuto e 20 segundos tirados do WR de 120. Damn.
The simple reason for this? Punke had consistency that was unrivaled, even by Siglemic at his best.
What do you mean?
20 seconds off the 120 star record.
This frame? Eu não vou achar o frame agora.
The simple reason for this? Punke had consistency that was unrivaled, even by Siglemic at his best. While these two were roughly equal in skill in mid-2014, as the year went on, Siglemic stopped playing and Punke just pulled away. As of late 2014...
Usa ponto vírgula? Mas eu não lembro qual era o frame que eu tava pausado. Eu nem sabia o que era pra eu olhar. Eu não vou procurar agora.
That was the state of 120 star. Punke was in full control of the leaderboard. The new cannonless setup had opened the door to new possibilities. While Punke had already taken the time to a mid-142, there was certainly room to keep dropping it with more attempts. The future was wide open. But to show you the next chapter in 120 Stars history, I actually want to go back a few months.
Yep.
Back to that period in mid-2014, when Punke and Siglemic were both active, racing each other regularly and having a blast competing together. Now, we know that Siglemic's world records have largely been lost to time. So frankly, the clip I'm about to show you from a random stream of his, it's incredible that it somehow survived. This was most likely from June 3rd, 2014, just a couple weeks after Punke first took the record from Siglemic.
Esse livro é uma bosta? What the hell? No, it's fine. É bom setup pro negócio. Pensa, pra mim, se eu não soubesse que clipe é esse setup, esse delivery me deixaria muito interessado. Eu discordo completamente dessa take.
Sig and Punke were about to race each other, one-on-one in 70 star. The two best runners in the world going head-to-head, with thousands of people watching live. This was gonna be good.
Ele já anunciou o cliffhanger no Twitter meses atrás? Ok, mas obviamente, pra quem não sabe, it's hard. Não tem como ele fazer de um jeito que seja da hora, se você já sabe qual é o cliffhanger. Você tá argumentando de um ponto de vista que não tem nada que ele poderia fazer.
But then, right as they were about to start, a third player joined the race. This player was a promising runner, rising up the ranks, but really nothing special yet. He was in 29th place on the leaderboard. Nobody was paying attention to this guy. Why would he join a race against number 1 and number 2? But maybe he was confident for a reason. Although he got crushed by Siglemic and Punke in this race, he wasn't discouraged. And over the next several years, this guy would go on to set more world records, and perhaps have the greatest legacy of anybody who has ever played Super Mario 64. And the very first time that people heard his name was this clip from Siglemic's stream.
Dude, who's this random dude? Cheese05? Why did you join this race?
Mano.
This is the race between two titans. You'll get
Fuck. That chills, bro. Fuck. He ended it well. He saved it. He brought it back. He clutched up. At the 45. Let's go. W video.